Many people are aware of the horse racing industry or equestrian sports, but are probably unfamiliar with the dark side of this industry that has been swept under the rug for so long. If you are a casual fan or completely unfamiliar with the horse racing industry, then you may not know of the many unethical practices that have been and are currently still tied to this industry today. One of the most common ethical dilemmas in the horse racing industry is the mistreatment of the racehorses that are involved in this sport. This mistreatment includes many forms of physical abuse and even gene doping, which I found to be quite extreme while I was conducting my research here on this topic. These horses are oftenly pushed to, their absolute physical limits, which has led to a substantial amount of horses dying on racetracks year in and year out. The situation is unfortunate because, instead of trying to make amends and trying to opt to resolve this dilemma, many stakeholders are pushing to continue this deadly cycle by continuing to breed racehorses at an extremely rapid rate. Once a horse can no longer perform to their owner's standard or liking, uh, and once their competition days are over, they're shipped to slaughterhouses and pretty much turned into meat. One point that I made in my case study is that owners in this industry seem to have a type of mentality that's like a next horse up type of mentality, and pretty much display little to no care for these animals whatsoever. When you think about who is affected in this ethical dilemma, you have to consider all stakeholders. I list owners, stable staff, veterinary surgeons, human and animal non-governmental organizations. You can even add gamblers as a stakeholder. Betting on horse racing has become an extremely lucrative sector in this sport. So you can even add gamblers and stakeholders. I personally included the horses. I believe to be the most important stakeholders. Um, if you actually want to consider them stakeholders. In my opinion, they're the only entity here that actually has their physical well-being on the line here. I came up with a couple unique alternatives to this ethical dilemma. One was transforming the sport into a virtual event that would actually fit our current society today. In my case study, I mentioned that horses could be represented as NFTs placed into a simulator, and that could actually randomly identify a winner. I think by opting to abolish the physical use of horses in racing, we could ultimately save more horses in the long run and also introduce stakeholders to a new world of virtual sports and cryptocurrency that is seemingly becoming more and more popular by the day. So essentially, we could do good by eliminating the actual physical use of horses involved in horse racing, and also educate, consumers and spectators on, new trades of society today. However, I figured this method may actually change the nature and the scope of the sport entirely too much. Moving forward, no matter the resolution in this situation, I think it's going to be almost impossible to make everyone happy, which is seemingly, quite common in many ethical dilemmas. Nonetheless, my values tend to align more with the protection of horses in this situation. While I don't believe we should abolish horse racing altogether, I do believe that some of the current safety tactics can be tweaked. My choice as a resolution for this issue is to establish a safety protocol where monthly checkups for all racehorses are required. This would actually include, um, you know, checkups during training, pre-competition checkup, post-competition checkup. And I think this method would actually prioritize, the health and the safety and the, physical well-being of all the horses and of all of the horses involved. Furthermore, I think this also establishes or helps establish a level of respect and appreciation toward the horses that has, seemingly been, non-existent in the past. And I think this should actually be required among owners who wish to enter their horses into the National Thoroughbred Racing Association. In conclusion, I believe consistent checkups for the talent would be a great step toward promoting the physical well-being of horses. And I think it would also help take preventative action to ensure that this ethical issue does not reoccur.